everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm Hammer, and I'm in quite a mood tonight, so please ignore my shenanigans. I'm joined by my two favoriteest Wednesday show hosts, Terry D. Mantis.
Hello.
And Jen T. Maxey.
Hello.
How you doing, Jen?
Oh, I'm good.
For some reason, I have both my hands above me. I don't know why. Why do I do that during the beginning of the show? Every time I read the intro, put my hands up. I think it's because I could breathe better, maybe? I don't know. You guys can't see me, so what do I care?
You're putting your hands in the air like you just don't care?
Feels like I just don't care. How you doing, Terry?
I'm okay. Unlike you, I do care.
Put your hands down. I am good. Thanks for asking. Like I said, kind of a weird mood tonight. I have no idea why. Nothing special happened today. I got a good night's sleep. Maybe that has something to do with it. I went to bed at, I don't know, maybe 9, 10 o'clock last night, and I didn't get up till like 11 o'clock this morning. It's like, apparently I needed some sleep. No idea why, but nobody bothered, nobody called me. Nothing special happened. I just slept the entire time. So maybe I have too much energy. I'll go to bed later tonight instead. So. Let's go ahead and say hello to everybody in chat. Terry, you want to go first?
Sure. So over on Rumble, we have Green Badger, we have Cynic, we have JB, and we have Jack Gunsky.
And YouTube will roll in usually around 9:30ish or so. Jen, you want to take care of Rumble?
Oh, sure. Oh goodness, I'm sorry. YouTube was weird, and I was waiting for it to upload, and it didn't. You know what? I'm going to do this old school way. I don't normally have to go and find the minions on my YouTube side because it always shows for me. But every once in a while, YouTube is like, "Hey, you, do you want to work for it?" And I'm like, "That's not how that works."
I have two, because when you run the stream, there's a screen that you can use to start and end the stream on the YouTube side. A little button in the corner, go live and stream. And that has the chat right there, so that I can type in as if I was running the channel. Minions of the Zoo will show up yellow on the screen. But then I always keep my own copy, because when I talk to everybody on chat, I want them to know it's me. If you just respond as minions, it could be Sanguine, it could be Johnny, it could be anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, I just mean like I didn't have it up. Like normally I refresh YouTube an hour before we do stream and it shows up. And then tonight I'm like, okay, that's not doing that. And I was like, okay, well, let's do it a half an hour before. I'm like, still not showing it. And I meant to just like 5 minutes beforehand. Still wasn't showing it.
All I heard is that Jen couldn't get it up.
Yeah, I couldn't. YouTube was like, I'm floppy. All the same, I got it though. So I'll greet chat. Hi, Hammer.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Oh, that's my brother. Hi, Rotten Corpse. Hi, Terry.
Hello.
Hi, Keeper Dam. Hi, Jack. Sorry about your show, but at the same time, congrats. You know. Hi, Tier. Let's scroll down. Hi, Mike R. It's been a while, actually. Hi, Costin. Also been a while. And let me just go back and forth a little bit, but I think I got everybody. Yep.
Did you know they fixed YouTube chat?
How do you mean?
You can type in like a smiley face and not have to put a space.
Oh,
after.
yeah. No, I did notice that.
Because I accidentally forgot to put a space after the heart.
Yeah.
That's the same. And it still worked.
That's the same way I found out. I accidentally forgot the space. I was like, oh, that still went through.
Anyway. Topics. 3 topics, because we always do 3 topics.
Yes.
The first one is Garland. This has nothing to do with Christmas. Eric, I think it was his first name, Eric Garland.
Merrick.
Merrick. I knew it was close to that. Something Merrick something. Schmerrick. He has had. How do I put this? There are charges for him against his failure to release Biden's audio tapes from when he transcribed his book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They released what was said, but they refused to release the audio tapes, and Merrick Garland is the one who's refusing. So he got contempt charges from Congress. which means if he doesn't do what they tell him to do, he's going to jail.
Naughty daddy.
OpenAI is the second topic. Apple is going to be including OpenAI in their next gen phone. Now I already see.
Elon Musk got upset with them over that, didn't he?
Very. We'll go into that. And also, I saw AI is being used in Google now. Anybody notice that? You do a search in Google about a topic, it says, "Hey, I'm going to say, let me generate an AI response for you."
I don't use Google as a search engine, but I noticed that I don't know what the default for Brave is, but they also use the AI to generate a response.
It wasn't just Google. We were talking about this quite a bit over the weekend because Adobe updated their policies too. And it's a whole hell of a lot of like, hey, we want, you've signed this waiver and we're now free to source all your stuff under excuses like pedo porn, even though we know that's not always the case. A lot of the time that's just an excuse. And then they're allowed to use your content, which they need to train their AI. And it's another one of those things where you're like, oh, so if I use your resource to make things with, you are going to just steal it from me.
Well, I have a lot to say about AI.
I am anti-AI for one very specific reason. T uses it to make his Pokemon teams, and all his teams are identical because the AI is retarded and it just keeps recommending the same Pokemon. I was like,
it's not that I mind drawing him for him, Tier. You got to send me the pictures because otherwise I ain't looking that shit up. There's too many fucking Pokemon. It's like I tried to look up the fucking spheres for my picture for Eve, and I didn't know there was 20 of them. I thought there was like 4.
So yes, my official statement is Tier, stop being lazy, make your own goddamn teams.
Well, like I said, I have a lot to say about AI in general, but the final category for tonight is banger. And I couldn't think of another way of trying to include the word gun in this, but
banger, I didn't even touch her.
Hunter has been found guilty
on
all of his gun charges.
He's probably going to get a slap on the wrist.
Of course.
More than likely, but he has another set of outstanding charges in a different state. So he's not done yet. But we can talk about him as well. Those are the 3 topics we have. You guys have anything special you want to chat about?
No, but I'm just getting my opinion out there before I forget it, because once you get started, I will. I think part of the reason why the Bidens might let this one go, we were joking about it, they were finding cocaine in the White House. I was like, I bet just because he shares with Daddy.
Yeah. I mean, cocaine wires you up, doesn't it?
Yep. Like, I'm not surprised or like saying stuff. I'm just like, I wouldn't be surprised if, Dad uses it too. You can't have both of them being caught with it, Yeah.
Well, I see a lot of comparisons online. Well, Trump was guilty. He went to jail, or he's going to jail. So shouldn't Hunter go to jail too? Oh, Trump did something wrong, so we should prosecute him because Hunter's being prosecuted because he did something wrong. I said, well, did the president smoke crack and then buy a gun on video? No, they're not the same. They're apples and oranges. Just because one guy's guilty doesn't mean the other guy's guilty. One guy's not even a president. Only one of the 2 is a president.
I've said this before. I think it would be awesome if Trump went to prison, still won the election, didn't pardon himself, and was just president from prison, and just like spent his 4 years running the country from prison.
From prison.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
That would be pretty awesome. Did you see the latest poll news on Trump?
I assume he's still doing quite well.
Post conviction, he went up in Nevada in his polls. Cool. Today is reported that a left-leaning pollster in Pennsylvania did a poll 2 days ago. This is post conviction, and Trump is up 2 points now in Pennsylvania.
Nice.
So technically he flipped the state because he was down Biden was up 1, and now Trump is up 2. So it went from being leaning blue to leaning red. You flipped it.
Excellent.
Yeah, the thing that they don't understand with Trump is the only thing that they have on him sounds like it has to do with the hookers case.
That's the one, yeah, Stormy Daniels. That's the
Yeah.
one he was convicted of, yeah.
And that's not going to win anybody over. Like, this is the same argument I had with people before he was elected the first time. I know he's a dirty cheater. I know how he was with his wives, but that's not going to blank me as a statement when it comes to a politician, because then you have to explain Bill Clinton. You know, you just do.
Yep.
My stance on this is, wait a minute. Are you telling me that the extremely rich and powerful man had sex with
The choice of
porn
women.
star?
Yeah.
Whoa. Hold the phone. That doesn't sound right.
Like, no, I never thought the first time that he was going to be perfect when he went into office, because I actually thought there were too many people surrounding him that would, like, not help him. Like, I do think he's a bit of a narcissist. You do have to spend some time actually winning him over to what you're trying to sell him. But he had some people who were really good, and you could see that, because where he was making decisions where it was really good, he had people helping him too, so he knew what he was supposed to be doing.
I'm going to say, I don't think the president or the leader of any country needs to be a nice person. I think it's probably better if they're not.
I think it's better when they're not in half. Well, now that I've seen what a nice prime minister's like, yeah, I'd rather have a mean guy who's just telling you what he is. You know, my guy likes to pretend like he's super nice, but he's like the most vile person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he's not even the worst. Like, we haven't died. Like, we probably will have effects from it, but we're not Venezuela. If we had more power.
Yeah, not yet. Terry's got it.
Right? And he's supposed to be a nice guy.
Yeah, I mean, I make fun, but Australia's going down the same road, so I'm not in any better of a situation.
Well, I've always thought that me and Jen had a lot in common when it comes to our countries, because we both had really, really bad leaders. And I really didn't see Australia being like that. But you do have a censorship czar that I'm very concerned about.
Yep.
That's the only thing I've seen out of Australia where I think, oh, there's something wrong there.
That was one of my favorite things that Baring said, is like, imagine your country has a online censorship czar. If you're Australian, you don't have to imagine it. You already have one.
It's probably because they know that down the line they're losing power.
They are.
And
what
they're
kicks me about
screaming.
what kicks me about all this is that she's an American.
Yeah, that's true.
We're exporting bad people to your country.
Unironically, you are.
I'm sorry. I had nothing to
We've
do with
done
it.
it too.
No, you're not the one doing it.
Yeah.
But
We've done
that
it
is
too.
their game plan, is they want to spread their tentacles all over the world and infect as many countries as they can.
Yeah. Damn
Well, I
Americans.
think that was part of the problem with your policy. Like, once upon a time, it was like, and it still technically is, it's ridiculously super hard to actually move to Australia. You can't just do that.
Is
Like,
it?
you really, Australia. Sorry, I've got dry mouth. But you can't just move there. Like, it's more than just a green card with Australia. Like, the things that you have to tick off the box, because they have even more of a limited space that's usable to either of us.
I have a very simple solution to the immigration problem. Anyone is allowed to enter the country if they can swim from the nearest island to Australia. You know what? You've earned it.
New Zealand would be the closest island, right?
No, there's probably stuff like New Zealand would be the closest country, but there's like smaller islands around.
Okay.
But like,
Christmas
they're still like hundreds, thousands of kilometers away. It's not an easy swim. I promise you.
So,
Christmas Island, you know.
So you mean the closest who can swim without getting eaten by a shark?
No. I mean, the sharks are part of the challenge. That's
part of the challenge. I can see like American Ninja Warrior, and in this class, she's gonna be swimming this far with sharks. It's like, all right, this show has gone too far.
It's a shame Adam West is no longer with us, because he could give you some of his bat shark repellent that he used in the movie.
Right. I remember that.
But I don't think he's around anymore. So you might have to figure out that on your own.
I've often said that I would love to visit Australia, and I think I've
Oh,
gotten to the
get
point now.
swimming, man. I'm all for it.
I used to say that I'd rather live in Scotland and visit Australia, but I think that's reversed. I think I'd rather live in Australia and visit to Scotland, because some of the things that they're doing both in Ireland and Scotland are just totally, was it anathema, and whatever it is,
Anathema, yeah.
anathema.
They've accepted an invasion by the government.
I'll give up my gun rights. That's the only thing that Australia's going to force on me. Everything else is fine.
I will say, I mean, just the location, Europe would probably be better, because if you live in Australia, you're not getting anywhere else. You're not like, every country is like very inaccessible. If you're in like Scotland and you want to go to France or Germany,
a half an hour walk, right?
Well, not a walk, but a flight.
I know. I'm just making jokes because it takes us, 12 hours just to cover Texas.
Yeah.
There's also, by default, a lot more livable places in Scotland and Ireland. Like, they're not good places. You're going to be cold as shit, and you're going to want to insulate it. But
my problem is not the demographics or the geography or any of that. Mine is the political world. Over there, the woke crowd is every bit as prominent there as it is here. I would want to get away from that and get to Australia, which not saying that Australia is completely innocent, but compared to the United States and most of the countries in Europe, Australia's much better.
They're actually still ridiculously woke, Hammer. They're just behind. Like when I look at their woke crowd, they're still kind of obsessed with veganism and
I think,
that's nothing.
I think the biggest problem you'd have with Australia is it's very big on safetyism as opposed to liberalism. Like we pretty much have a nanny state where they consider safety to be far more important than freedom, which I don't agree with, but what can I do?
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can say that any country has got their problems, right?
Of course, yeah.
I just think that
in America you've got a tip, which I will never be on board with.
Yeah, I mean, in America we've got Biden, who's pretty much dead, and we have Trudeau in Canada, who's a Nazi, but in Australia you don't have that kind of political turmoil that we have. I mean, the czar person has got a certain amount of power, but she's not the leader of the country.
I think the solution is simple. We move to Argentina. We get Mr. Afuera to be king of the world.
Afuera.
I like him.
Yeah.
Malay, right?
Yeah. Javier Milei.
Javier Milei.
He's probably the only politician that I like.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump's okay, but he's no Javier Milei.
Yeah, supposedly Malay got rid of the DEI arm of his government.
I told you I liked him.
Just he got rid of more of them. Like,
he got rid of the whole department like 3 days ago. So
they're completely and utterly useless. Like it doesn't do anything.
He's making good on his promises, though. He's kind of like Trump.
Yeah.
Trump says, "I'm going to do this, and I'm going to move the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem," and then 2 months later, it's there. He's just getting it done.
I do think it's entirely likely that Argentina has less restrictions. Like Trump wanted to do a lot of things, but he would need the approval of like the Senate and all that stuff to like.
That's what I mean by help.
Yeah. But like in Argentina, I'm guessing they don't have quite as many limits on the president's power. So if he wants to say, screw it, we don't have a Department of Education anymore, he can just axe it. Whereas doing that in America would be considerably more difficult.
It's like, Hammer, whenever I think of Trump's reign, in every other shot, there was Pelosi and Schumer, and you could tell that he was in every step of the way getting fight back, not just from the Dems, mostly from the Dems, but it was from his own side too. And I was like, if you guys were actually working with him, you'd actually get a whole lot more accomplished, and both sides might actually be surprised at how much he tries to meet you in the middle, because he looked like he wanted to meet the Dems on the middle too. I saw people
I don't think he would
on the
ever
right.
gotten the wall though, no matter what he did. I don't
Yeah,
think they would ever given him the wall.
and that's
May
just it.
now.
Well, they wouldn't have given him anything. They weren't willing to give him like in every
They
step
gave
of the
him
way.
COVID.
Yeah, well, because that one's easy to
I mean, they
use.
didn't give it to him. I'm sure
Oh,
he got
I'm sure they
COVID.
did. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. He did catch it at one point, remember?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Good.
I know he did things, and I know he often had limitations. It's just, a lot of those limitations were being put in front of him like roadblocks. And
No. Those limitations are there for a very good reason. I'm not saying that it's bad that those roadblocks are there. I'm saying that Javier Milei was able to do more quickly because Argentina most likely does not have similar restrictions on their leadership.
it is something that I'm looking out for on our side of things, because it is because they have less restrictions that they can do that. And it's nice to have something of a safe way to change things, at least go back to what you were doing if what was going on was completely wrong. And not I question our system now, because we used to have something like that, but over the years it's been shifted, and it was both sides doing the shifting. And you're like, okay, so now you see why we're in a problem, right? Like, you guys kind of keep trying to win things over on each other with politics, and now we're all screwed.
I think the only thing that we should do really when it comes to what Javier is doing is I think we definitely need to get rid of the Board of Education. That's the only thing that, I mean, I understand that the people who were yelling about the ATF, I get it. They're making laws without actually going through Congress. I get there's a lot of bad, but when it really comes down to the worst part is Board of Education, because it affects the children. And I don't want to be can anybody think of the children? I don't want to be that guy, but I think there's a lot there to be upset about, and a lot there that needs to change quickly. If you get rid of the Board of Education, local school boards can be elected to office by people who live there. So they get people who are not, assigned by the Board of Education. You actually get people that represent you.
I've got a better idea. Don't get rid of the Board of Education. Replace it with an actual piece of wood called the Board of Education. And misbehaving kids get hit with this board. And I think you'll see a sharp increase in the discipline of the next generation.
I lived that life, so I'm all on board for that. But if you get locally elected people and impose the appropriate guidelines for them, you'll get people who represent you, and that's really what people want, because they're being forced into ideologies that they're not interested in, and nobody could do anything because it's a federal, a federal entity making these decisions for these people, and they don't like it, but they can't do anything about it.
If I could change one thing about Australia's political thing, I don't think voting should be mandatory. I think it should be optional.
I think I agree with I'm gonna fuck up his name, Ramswamy, on you need to take a civics test. Yeah, I think you should take a civics test.
No, because the government writes the civics test. So they could say, oh, what's that? You don't think diversity is important? Well, you don't get to vote.
Yeah, I'd be a little squeamish about the government controlling anything.
I
get that.
I agree with the underlying belief, but the implementation is going to be a disaster if you're letting the government decide who is allowed to vote. That is just a recipe for disaster.
Well, it's not that. It's more of just like, I agree that if I'm not educated enough to know about what it is that I'm doing when it comes to voting, I shouldn't be voting, because I just, like, yes, I do want to have the right to make my own choices and stuff, but half the time I'm looking at these people and I'm like, yeah, I would like to pick Harambe because I think he would have done a better job.
I understand the underlying belief that you should be educated on the issues before you vote. I'm saying if the government is the one that's deciding whether or not you're educated on the issue,
Yeah, you're already.
that is a
Yeah.
catastrophe. That is the worst possible thing I can imagine.
Yeah, I
Well,
get what you're saying.
I do have kind of a weird take on this as well, because right now we are a constitutional republic. I've had this argument many times. If you know the Pledge of Allegiance, it says to the republic for which it stands. It doesn't say to the democracy. So we're in a republic. The states are supposed to have all the authority, not individuals, not the federal government, the states. That's how we work. For the people out in chat who want to argue with me, I give them something to argue with me about. But I don't think that the states should be able to determine how a federal election is held. If it's a federal election, then the federal government should have control of it, because it's for federal stuff. And states can have their own rules on the states, that as long as they don't go against the Constitution, that's fine. But when somebody says in a specific state, well, we want voting places to be here, here, and here, and voting should only be open from this time to this time, and then they start setting all these little caveats, and then you go right next door and they're completely different caveats. I don't like that, because I think the federal government should say, if you're going to vote for somebody in the federal government, these are the rules for everybody.
That makes sense. I mean, I think, yeah, if it's a federal election, then the federal government sets the rules. That just
Should be,
seems
but
logical.
we're not, because technically it's
No,
against
but
how
I'm
we were
saying I
founded.
agree that that's how it should be. That
Yeah.
makes sense to me.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll ever be, because the states have all the power. Again, the states have all the power. I mean, even the electoral college is how the states feel, not how the government feels in the federal government. So that's my weird take when it comes to the government intervening in your everyday life. I agree, though, that stuff like the ATF saying, oh, well, this is a bump stock. Oh, now it's not a bump stock. Now this is a bump stock. And now that's not a bump stock. Having the ATF make those decisions, I don't believe in that. I think if it's going to be the federal government making decisions, it should be Congress. It shouldn't be
I just in general,
an agency.
I think voting should be optional, because if you legitimately don't support any candidate, you shouldn't be forced to. Like when I get forced to vote, I just put a line through all the boxes, because I don't want to support any of these idiot parties.
Well, it's funny how you would rather have a binary configuration when it comes to voting, and you would want to have freedom to vote or not to vote.
Yes.
I go against American idealism, and I think we should be forced to vote.
I think the ranked voting that Australia has is a great system. I think I think we should keep that. I don't want to go to what the Americans have, but I also think it should be entirely optional. Like, I mean, why force me to go to the local primary school, get my name marked off, put a line through all the boxes, put the spoiled ballot into the box, and walk home? What's the point of making me do that? Just give me the option of saying, yeah, I don't want to vote. Like,
put it in the mail.
The same net result. I'm not voting. It's just making me waste an hour of my day officially not voting. Like, what's the point?
Yeah. Q-Renam says, vote or die, motherfucker.
Well, I guess I'm going to die.
I like that.
Well,
it's just, I understand the American sentiment for that phrase, but you can just take the form, mark a couple of check marks, and throw it in the mail. So it doesn't have to be that laborious.
No, but like, why make me do it in the first place? Like I have to unofficially not vote by deliberately putting an invalid vote into the box. Why not just let me stay home? What's gained by making me go to the local primary school and do the charade?
Yeah, I get it. What were you going to say, Jen?
Well, the thing is like the alternative is stuff that they haven't figured out how to do. And the only thing I could think of is like the internet, like voting by the internet. And clearly that's why they can't, is because hackers.
Well, like, if there's something that I want to vote for, obviously I want the right to do that. Like, I voted against the Aborigines having a voice to Parliament because I didn't want them to have one. I thought it was a stupid suggestion. But if you're asking me which communist I want to run the country, the extreme left or the slightly left, it's like, well, no, neither. I don't support either candidate, so I'm not going to vote for either of them.
Well, Canada is not forced to vote, are they?
Nope. Nope. We can sit it out if we want to. My brother has like a couple times. Much to my mom's frustration.
What is your
Or,
ideal?
I would even say that if you're going to make voting compulsory, you should also give them an official abstain option. Like if I could go to the primary school, tick the I abstain box and have that be my vote, I'm on board. If you want like an official registry of how many people abstained, sure. But forcing people to vote for one party or the other is what I'm objecting to.
What are the limitations to Canada? What can you and what can't you do?
So if you want to sit it out, you're allowed to. Like there's no encouragement to or not to. Some people do consider sitting out to be a form of a vote anyway.
You have
So do
multiple
I.
parties. Are you ranked voting, or are you pick one?
So it is so we are different. We go kind of by region. So if I wanted Pierre as my prime minister, I'm still going to have to vote for somebody in my city. So he's going to be the federal guy for Pierre in my city, and he's going to be the guy who puts in a vote for him as a leader. It's still looking incredibly good for Pierre. So Trudeau's very unhappy. He is not happy.
But in Australia, we don't vote for a person; we vote for a party,
Right.
and they pick the leader. So, like, if I vote for the Liberal Party, and they decide that Bob Smith is going to be the Prime Minister, 2 months into his prime ministership, the party could decide, you know what, we don't like Bob Smith, we're going to have Jack Jones instead, and that's completely fine.
No, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, we don't do that.
No, but like that was a thing that happened with the Labor Party. Was we went through about 5 prime ministers in the space of a year because there was that much turbulence while they were like fighting over leadership. So we went through like 5 prime ministers in the space of maybe a year and a half because it was that tumultuous. And it's like, well, I mean, you voted for the Labor Party. You didn't vote for a specific prime minister. You voted for the party, and
But
they decided.
these prime ministers
leader.
make themselves available to be voted for.
Yeah.
All right.
But
So
like the Labor Party or the Liberal Party or whoever decides who they're going to nominate as their prime minister, but they can change their mind at any point. They can say, you know what, this Anthony Albanese joke, we don't like him. We're going to have Pauline Hanson. I mean, she's a different party, but I'm just picking politician names. But we're going to have this person be prime minister instead. It's like they can do that.
let me give you an example and tell me if I'm right about this. So Trump is an MP and he's up for vote. A liberal could vote for him, or a conservative could vote for him. It doesn't matter what party. The party makes a decision. If they like him, they like him. So regardless of who he is, any party can accept anybody as long as that party wins.
So it has to be a member of the party. Like the Labor Party couldn't nominate. The Labor Party couldn't nominate me as prime minister because I'm not a member of the party. It has to be one of their own party members. That is,
and you can only be one party at a time.
Yeah. You're voting for which party is in power, not for which person is in power.
Right. So you personally could only be in one party. You can't be in 2 parties.
Right. Yes.
Okay. All right. That makes more sense. I understand now. So we have 3 different ways of doing this.
Yeah. I mean, 3 different countries.
I would think that we have the worst of the 3.
I do disapprove of your first past the post system. I do think the ranked voting makes a lot more sense.
Well, the electoral college is our way of doing things.
No, I mean, but within each state, you don't have ranked voting. You're voting like
no, except for Alaska. Alaska's ranked voting.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
Yeah, They tried it. I think they're going to do it again. They tried it. It wasn't really that great. Didn't work out really well. But I think they're going to continue trying it.
I like it because it gives you more reason to vote for lesser known parties. Like
Right.
if you want to vote for the Libertarian Party, you're basically wasting your vote for the most part in America because they're not going to win.
Right.
I mean, just be honest, they're not going to win.
not.
Whereas if
RFK
you
is not
had
gonna
the
win.
rank, but if you had the ranked voting, you could say vote 1 Libertarian, vote 2 Republican, and then you're voting for the Libertarians. But once they get eliminated from the pool, your vote then gets assigned to the Republican Party.
From my perspective, I would say, well, I'll vote Trump, and if he doesn't win, I'll vote for RFK because I definitely don't want Biden.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The poll is out for music for tonight. Our artist is Queen for Q.
And,
We have to
voting
talk
is mandatory because I'm Australian and I'm imposing this on all of you.
We haven't talked about R yet, but tonight's option is Queen. So you have Killer Queen, Fat Bottom Girls, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and I Want to Break Free. Right now, neither Killer Queen nor I Want to Break Free has any votes at all. That's interesting.
No, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
all between the middle two.
Yeah. So have you voted already? Jen, have you voted too?
I have, yeah. I voted. I voted immediately because I already knew what song I wanted to vote for. So as soon as the poll appeared, it's like click.
Yes, I have.
She waited until I asked. Then
Yes,
voted,
I did.
then said yes.
Yes, I did.
That's awesome.
So who would we do for R? I mean, Rolling Stones is like the first to leap to
Obvious,
mind.
yeah, the obvious choice, but
Rolling Stones, and for some reason, my brain, the other week went to Rod Stewart. I'm like, I don't even know
that's
why.
a good choice. That's a good
That's
choice.
a decent choice, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we can run a poll after this poll to see. Because those are two good options for R.
Yeah.
Obviously, obviously a little bit more on the Rolling Stones because they have more hits for me to work with. But
Yes.
it's not like Rod doesn't have plenty of hits too.
There's REM as well, I suppose.
One of my favorite bands.
Red Hot Chili Peppers is another one.
Lots of R's.
Oh yeah, R is a very common letter.
Yeah.
Robert Palmer is another one.
Yep. Roy Orbison is an option.
There you go.
Robert Plant. Rihanna. Depends on how far back you want to go. REO Speedwagon.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there's some.
Just to make Gunsky happy because he hates REO Speedwagon, so I think that should be the choice just to spite him. Rotten Corp says Rob Zombie. I do like Rob Zombie, but I don't think he's a good fit for this show.
The music may not be
Appropriate.
Yeah, that might be a problem.
He also picked Rammstein, but again, no.
Although-
I like Rammstein, but
Although Dragula is a pretty cool tune, I gotta admit.
yeah, oh, it is.
I always found it amusing to play that one for anybody who had parents or grandparents who were German, because the translation is funny, or they're like, "What?"
What Rammstein? They're
Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie.
Chaos Archive says he hates the Chili Peppers. Well, fair enough. I mean, they're not for everyone.
Everybody has their opinions.
Yeah.
Somebody voted for I Want to Break Free. Wow. How many votes do we have? 10 votes. I'm going to close the votes in 1 minute and 15 seconds. I'll close it at 9:41. Yeah.
How are the results going? Okay, so it looks like Fat Bottom Girls is
in the lead.
Yeah, but not by much. It's
no, that's why I'm not ending it just yet, because there's still room. So for R, it's probably going to be Rod Stewart. Do I have any music from him? Rod Stewart.
He's got a ton of songs.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any of them.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to go get them all. But you're right, he does. He has doesn't he have one called Legs or something like that? I know there's one by the guys with the beards. She's
Top.
Got Legs. Yeah, ZZ Top's got one, but I think doesn't he have one? Hot Legs or something like that?
I don't know. Like Rod Stewart, I know he's got a ton of songs, but I don't know many off the top of my head because
Yeah, he has one about what legs. You got another one about failing. Is another one of his.
yeah. There's the rhythm of my heart is beating like a drum.
Yeah, beating like a drum.
So yeah, no, Rod Stewart's definitely got enough songs. You will not be starved for options.
Stewart.
Oh, just give me a moment.
Yep.
Up 10. See if we can pick out the songs. Maggie May. There you go.
There you go.
Tonight's
so
the night.
Stewart,
Oh my God! How do we miss that one?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm sexy? Holy shit!
Yeah,
That's probably his
I
number
told
one
you, he's got a
song.
million of them. He's got a million of them. So Rod Stewart is going to be one of them. I think Rolling Stones should probably be another. Like they've got a million hits as well.
And I'll tell you, the search engine, Bing or Edge, awful.
Yeah, don't use it.
Yeah, sorry.
You're in my heart. Oh my God, that's another huge song of his.
Yeah. So
Tonight's
I think Rolling Stones should be on there. Maybe REM if they're like one of Hammer's big favorites.
You don't want to go by what I like.
No, I mean, if you're a fan, then it makes sense to include them. Maybe the Chili Peppers as a fourth. I don't know. There's a decent number of options here.
Yeah.
And Kiva Dan is shouting Samsung in chat, so I presume she recognized the beeping noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my phone.
It looks like Fat Bottom Girls has one poll for tonight.
And Rotten Corpse is just the Ramones. That's another good one.
Yeah, the Ramones. Forgot about them.
You did spell it wrong, but I knew who you meant, Rotten.
All right. Pictures.
You're not Tiers. I'm not going to be a dick about spelling.
Surprisingly nice of you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could have been a dick and said the Raymonds, but like I knew who he meant.
Found my Afuera icon.
Excellent.
For the sound effect, Afuera.
Afuera.
I need to clean it up. It sounds kind of staticky.
And JB says the Ramones have a ton of songs. Yes, they do. yes, they do. They were quite big.
I want to be sedated. Isn't that a Ramones tune?
Yeah. And Gunsky's singing it in chat. 24 hours ago. I want to be sedated.
I actually have that song.
I like that. That's it.
Can't play more than a couple seconds because of YouTube. If we were on,
of course,
if we were on Rumble, I would be able to get a good
play the whole song.
Because we did play half of Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah.
Or summer.
Were we live when you did that? I thought we hadn't gone live yet.
Yeah, but we could have.
Oh, you could have. Yeah,
could have. Have you ever heard the English version of Du Hast?
God, no. Why would you ever want to listen to an English version of that?
Because I'm not German, so I have no idea what he's saying. Do you have any idea what he's saying? Because I've listened to
I know
the English version.
I know it's like, I hate you or something like that.
It's exactly right. You hate me is the actual phrase. You hate me.
Right.
You hate me. You hate me to say, and I will not obey.
Yeah.
Is the actual
meaning. I mean, obviously, I don't know exactly, but I mean, I know broadly the message. It's like Weidman's Heil is a hunting song where he's singing about the creature must die. It's like I don't know the exact translation of all the lyrics, but I know that he's singing a hunting song about killing wild animals.
Du Hast is actually pretty sexually explicit. If you look at the English words,
I can believe it.
Let's see if I can say this in a way that YouTube's not going to get pissed at me. The lyric is something along the lines is, would you finish inside her. That'll probably not get me banned, but and the answer is 9.
Yes.
No. So
Yes.
so yeah, there's will you until death deny her
Yeah.
something while inside her?
You just reminded me of a really dumb joke that I really like.
Have to be
Where
careful.
I think it was Sean Locke. He was saying, I asked my German friend if he knew what the square root of 81 was. He didn't know. Like, do you know what the square root of 81 is? He was like, he didn't.
Okay. That's a pretty easy one.
Yeah. But the point is that he says 9,
Yeah, right.
which is the German for no. Like, do you know what the square root of 81 is? 9. Okay, I'll ask someone else.
All right. Now, of course, I screwed up VLC. All right. I can fix that. I can fix that. And it's fixed. So what do we have left as far as topics are concerned? Let me bring up my topics tab. So we talked about Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't talked about Merrick with an M, Merrick Garland, or OpenAI. The problem
I'm
with
more
OpenAI
interested in the
is,
AI thing.
yeah, so am I, but we got like 15 minutes left, so we're not going to be able to cover much of it.
No, that's all right.
I do believe that AI is not. Maybe I'm in the minority here. I really haven't looked in the internet to see what I'm seeing on the internet. Is a lot of panic about AI, and
Yeah, I think it's unfounded.
if you ask, we see eye to eye without me even telling you what my perception was to begin with. But there was a lot of panic over Y2K too. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, the world was going to end. Y2K, the world's going to end. Oh, everyone's all twizzy about it. And all they did was hire some COBOL programs and fix the programs. That was it.
Yeah,
I
pretty
have
much.
a feeling that we're in the same place with AI. Everyone's in a panic over with something that's going to be fairly trivial. I don't think anytime soon that we're going to be hitting sentience. You can make an AI.
Fuck no, nowhere near it.
Yeah, I think you can make AI appear to be somewhat normal. But
I'm going to say I don't think AI passes the Turing test quite yet.
No, it does not. It does not. I don't know how long it will take because it's moving along pretty fast.
Yeah, but like you cannot have a conversation with an AI without reasonably quickly realizing that you're talking to an AI.
Yeah. They've made some robots and stuff that sound very close, and they've made them have kind of movements that kind of look more human than ever before. But they haven't really gotten to the point where you would mistake them from human. That's not even close.
No.
But I think the real problem is that we as humans have a tendency to overreact to anything that could potentially be a threat.
Yes, this is true.
So I think
if it starts to sound like Five Nights at Freddy's, it sounds like it's starting to become Five Nights at Freddy's,
Yeah.
Animatronic AI.
No, I don't think there's anything to be worried about with AI. Like all the people worried that it's going to put artists out of jobs, it's going to put bad artists out of jobs. So if you're a bad artist, then maybe you're going to
become an AI programmer.
You're going to have problems, but
wouldn't that be funny?
Like, I would say
the thing that put you out of business is going to be the thing you're going to actually end up being in a job for.
No, but like if you're a legitimately talented writer, painter, whatever,
but that's only really true until you realize that a lot of the AI that you're using is actually drawing from real artists. Like they aren't actually paying them for it. For a lot of those sites, like you'll get like, I've used it a couple times, like thought I'd use it as a reference and then was just like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah. When they get the legal licenses down for it. And I said that, like, if they have sites where, you have artists who are, willing to let you draw from their sources to create this AI, they're getting some money for it.
Yeah. No, my point is nothing to do with that. I'm just saying that the end result of an AI-produced piece of art is of absolutely zero threat to an actually talented human.
True.
Like
right now, that's true. Like they can't draw.
If you're sincerely worried that AI is putting you out of a job as an artist, you are a shit artist and you probably shouldn't have a job.
Yeah. It doesn't. I mean, I understand it's sampling from artists, but the things that AI can do, from certain perspectives, are pretty amazing, because you're sampling from so many artists. They did a 5-minute movie, and I swear to God, there was real people. They didn't look AI at all. I mean, they had like translucent skin and all the things that you would expect from a real. You could see AI drawings and say, "Oh, that's AI." It's got kind of a shine to it and a perfection to it that you can pull out. Oh yeah, that's obviously AI. But this 5-minute movie that I saw, and there was just recently, like a week ago, there was a commercial that came out that was done with AI, and there were certainly CGI elements to it. But when they brought in what should have been real people, they were AI. They weren't CGI; they were AI. So it was a combination of AI and CGI in this commercial. I forget what it was about, maybe a movie or something like that. But that 5-minute movie that I saw had a guy with a yellow rain jacket and a gray beard. Kind of looked like Matt, but he had this yellow jacket on and they showed it from the side. And I was like, I hit pause and I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. It's like, that's a real person.
No. But the thing is, you said it yourself. That had human intelligence behind it because there was someone combining the AI with CGI. If it was 100% AI generated, you could tell. I'm pretty confident. With no human input besides.
I'll see if I can track down the movie and show it to you. I think you'll be pretty amazed because it's like state of the art.
No. I'm sure it's great, but my point is, it's not AI generated in its entirety. There was a human intelligence fixing the flaws with the AI. Like you said, they added their own CGI to it. If it was purely AI, I think you could tell pretty easily.
Yeah, well, it's like Philly D says, it's only going to get better from here.
Of course,
it's never going to get any worse. It's always going to get better from here. So, for as good as it is now, there's only one direction for it: better.
I'll be real with you. There's been problems with legalizing art online for like years. It's not long before AI became a thing. Putting your shit online was always kind of a risk. Like I was telling Blue, it really is a good idea to put your signature in more than one place. Places where it's kind of hard to edit it out, or it kind of destroys the picture if you do. Because that's the thing. Like, there are people who will take your picture, and you can redraw somebody's picture. Like, artists do that all the time. It's how you practice your own sometimes, is to just kind of use a little reference. I never sell any of that stuff. It's always just practice art. But but it is people who will steal your stuff. It's why I want nothing to do with Silent Hill, like the new one that they're coming out with, because it looks like they completely ripped off art with AI.
No, see, I have no interest in the Silent Hill game because it's a modern video game made by a major studio. So it is guaranteed to be garbage. Like that, there's been no good games by major studios in like at least 5 years.
Yeah, they potatoed everyone.
Well,
I'd even go as far as to say 10, but definitely 5.
The next thing I hear is AI re-rendering cutscenes from video games. Because if you watch a cutscene from a video game, first of all, you can tell it's a video game. Second of all, they don't move or talk right. Their movements don't make any sense, and their lips don't match what they're saying and that kind of stuff. And what their plans are, from what I understand, is to use AI to take the text that the person's speaking and match it with the actual movements a human would have to make, and then redraw the visuals to match it. I can see that being kind of cool. So anything that makes a cutscene look more realistic, I think that's got to be a cool thing.
But I mean, I think from memory, they used AI with the remakes of Grand Theft Auto, and it did not work well in the slightest.
Well, these are just cutscenes, they're not the actual game.
Playing, I forget which one it was. It was like Vice City or San Andreas. But the next 6 minutes was playing through one of them on his channel, and oh my god, it was terrible. Like, you could walk under the grass because like the texture of the grass didn't sit on the ground, so he could actually crawl under the grass and like have the grass sitting on top of his head, and it was just like all these weird things like that. The text, the writing was wrong. It didn't make sense. It was just a disaster.
But you could have all those same problems and not have AI involved at all. So, but I mean
you could, but
yeah.
I think it was AI generated because a lot of the writing is jokes and it just got mistranslated by the AI.
Oh.
Like a human would say, okay, this is a joke, let's copy it appropriately, and the AI just best guess as to what the text said.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, it's only going to get better from here. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to the good things to do, but it's certainly not going to take over the world and make us all slaves. That's for sure.
No, but I look forward to increasing quality of AI porn.
I've run into this problem before. Ever since I was in high school, someone would say to me, well, this computer has 256 megabytes of memory. You'll never need more than that.
Never.
I look at him and I'm like, dude, you have no idea what we're going to need in the future. 256 megabytes? That's not even close to, oh, well, this machine has 64 gigabytes. You know, it's like he had no mental capacity to understand this is where we're going. You know, this is an 8 megahertz CPU. It's the most powerful CPU on the planet. I said, today, tomorrow we'll be doing this stuff in gigahertz, and it's going to be slow compared to what could be. You know, it's just people don't have the ability to think ahead. On the other hand, you have climate scientists who can't predict anything in the future.
No, but like once upon a time, dial-up was like cutting edge.
Yeah,
internet.
yeah. Oh, you have a 14.4 modem instead of a 2400 baud modem?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm going to get Einstein installed, and I'm going to be so fast.
Back when Norton was free. Yeah,
now they're putting in 10 gigabit internet into my area. 10 gigabit.
Exactly.
They already have 5. They're going to put in 10. It's like, Jesus, dude. And you know what? It's going to be $50 a month. 10 gigabit Ethernet for $50 a month. That's what it's going to be. Because once it's installed, the only thing you have to worry about is power to run it.
Yes.
You know, or something breaks. Otherwise, it just sits there and gathers money. So.
And Mike asks, says PC components last 1 year before they are obsolete. I wouldn't say that. I would say they last 1 year before they're no longer top of the line.
Yeah.
But like my PC, the one before this one, lasted 15 years without me replacing anything in it. It was bad. Like it was not a good computer by the end of the 15 years. That's why I bought a new one. But it still worked. It still did its job.
I replace my computer every 3 years.
Yeah, I mean...
And my main computer becomes my server. And my server, I ship it off to Poly.
My main thing is, does it run the games I want to play? And my old computer stopped doing that, so I bought a new one. But it took 15 years to get to that point.
Yeah, but see, the reason you didn't really have to worry is because you were still living in 15 years ago. All the games you were playing were still 15-year-old games. You weren't trying to play GT or Cyberpunk on that machine, were you?
No, I played Cyberpunk on it. It ran slowly. Yeah, but I could play it. And then it was when I got to THUR gifted me a game called Midnight Suns, and that was running too slowly. It's like, no, this is unplayable. So I had to get a new computer for that.
Yeah, because technology is moving so far ahead, I have to try to keep up to it. So I don't let a machine get more than 3 years. But the other thing is, I don't just buy a new machine. I will, okay, what's the weak part of my machine that's keeping me, holding me back? I will replace that. Like right now, my video card, oh man. It makes me sad just to use Monkey's line.
Well, that's why I ran it past you before I bought the PC.
Yeah.
It was like, what is this good enough? What should I enhance? What?
Yeah. Yeah, my video card in this machine, I think it's displayed on the screen. It's a GTX 1070 Ti. Oh man, anybody who's a computer geek is looking at me like, "What the fuck's wrong with you, dude?"
Yeah,
right now the 4090 is king of the hill, and the 50 series cards are coming out pretty soon. Computex just had a It just had a rumor mill
I
start.
think we were talking about it when I was like planning to buy the PC. My old PC had a graphics card similar to the one you've got now. Like to give context of how,
Yeah.
like I forget, either yours was slightly better than mine or mine was slightly better than yours.
Slightly. Yeah.
But it was like similar quality. My 15-year-old PC and your current one is like, yeah, you do need a
15-year-old
new
graphics
graphics
card.
card.
Yeah. The thing is, it does everything I want it to do, and I've been able to compensate for it. Like, typically
Yeah.
when you stream, you use your video card to stream with because it has a chip built into it specifically for streaming. There's an encoder and decoder chip inside the card. And my card can do a stream, but it can't do 2 streams.
Okay.
So my CPU does 1 stream and my GPU does the other.
There you
So
go.
that's how I compensated for it. So the great thing is that the CPU is very, very strong. I could probably do everything on the CPU, but it seemed much more intelligent to split everything up and bring down all the. I don't want to put everything in one basket.
So we should probably start winding up because we have hit the.
It is after 10 o'clock.
Yee!
Guys, do you guys have anything else you want to talk to, or can we get out of here right now?
Yeah.
Nothing of great importance, really.
Well, then we're getting out of here right
These are
now.
all the slurs I've learnt in the past 12 years. I'm just going to recite them for you now.
Thanks, fam, as always, for chatting with us tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday show, remember the Minions are live every evening, including weekends, with most shows starting around 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Hours and start times are linked in the description down below. Don't forget about the Rumble pre-show. That's where we play all the music at, obviously. That stream will start generally in a half an hour before YouTube. We'll be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.